Hey friends, happy Tuesday. So today we are talking about protecting your peace. I figured this would be the perfect video as we are getting to the end of the year. And what better way to end your year and start your year off um, than to, set new intentions for the year, right? So one thing that I do every year is I sit down and I reflect. So like maybe on New Year's Eve, I'll sit down usually before like the kids wake up or when I have some quiet time and I reflect on, okay, how was my year? What did I like about this year? What didn't I like? Did I set my goal? Did I achieve the goals that I set for myself? If I didn't, are these still my goals for this coming year? Yada, yada, yada. So, one of the things that I've been working on for the past few years has actually been learning how to set boundaries and protect my peace without feeling bad about it, right? And this is why if you look at some of my earlier content, that's why there was so much of that content on that topic because that was a major chunk of the work that I was doing. Due to my trauma, one of the things that I struggled with was when I would set a boundary, I would feel guilty, right? Because at one point in my life, standing up for myself meant that I was going to be, I guess, in danger, right? Like I wasn't safe to stand up for myself. I wasn't safe to say, I don't like this, what have you. So, this video, we are going to get into a compilation of TikToks, and per usual, I'm going to react to them and give my 2 cents. But it's all about putting you first and protecting your peace. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it.
Baby, I'm at a point in life where I am no longer explaining my motherfucking boundaries. Sometimes people feel very entitled to your energy, your space, and your time. That the second you tell a motherfucker no, or the second you can't show up, you can't go out, you can't text back, you can't answer your phone, they're taking it personal. Baby, I have to preserve that energy for me. My boundaries are set to protect me and my energy. They're not to be explained to you. And if the
Hello.
second a motherfucker is taking your personal boundaries personal,
Mm-hmm.
personally cut they ass off, because I
Yes.
find that type of energy to be draining. Oh, you fake, you phony, you couldn't come out, you couldn't pick up the phone, you think you this, you can't be there for me. I have my own
Mm-hmm.
shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think about that?
Nope. They
Check
only
your
worry about
ego
themselves. Yep.
before you come checking for me.
Period. I agree. I definitely agree.
And another thing the girls don't tell you before you get on your healing journey is that when you start setting boundaries, people around you are going to get triggered. And it's
Baby.
because you are forcing
Baby.
them to self reflect. When you start making personal boundaries, people
Mm-hmm.
take it personal because you are
Mm-hmm.
forcing them to look at themselves.
And I'm gonna stop right there and say that not only does it force them to look at themselves, but I think that they also throw a fit because the way that they've been able to play in your face has benefited them, obviously, right? Because if some of us just genuinely are good people, right? Some of us genuinely want to make sure that we're not hurting people, especially like, intentionally. But what I've personally learned is that the more boundaries I set, the more it pissed people off because they could no longer treat me in a way that they were used to that was beneficial to them. Right. So if you were able to use me for this long and then those rose colored glasses came off and I was just like, oh, you've been playing in my face this whole time. Right. Like once you realize that and you call them out on it, and sometimes like even for like me, I don't even call people out on their shit. I just leave them alone. Or I'll just like, depending on who it is, if it's something that happens in a moment, then I'll be like, you know what? I'm cool. I don't really care for that. I'm cool. I'm stepping away. They really don't like that. It's like this weird like rejection that they feel almost. To me, I always like it's almost like that. How dare you not let me mistreat you anymore? That's kind of how it comes off to me, right? Because those of us that have done the work, if someone comes to us and says, hey, when you did this, this, and this, it made me feel like this, and I needed to bring it to your attention so that it doesn't happen again. Those of us that are genuinely caring would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, whatever, 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 but you got my word, it won't happen again. And if you do slip up and do whatever that thing is, you're going to catch it and apologize immediately, right? A lot of people, they throw a fit when they no longer have that access to you, when they no longer can dump on you, when they no longer can mistreat you, because a lot of the time in that mistreatment, it feeds their ego. And so, now it's like, damn, I gotta go find a new victim because you found your self-worth.
Like, well, damn, maybe I am excessive. Maybe I do call this bitch too much. Maybe I do like the trauma dump. Maybe I am the drama. You are. And this is why I have to set boundaries with you. So don't get upset when people try to make you feel bad that you're now setting boundaries and limitations in your life. They're not upset with you. They're upset that you're no longer allowing this behavior. And because you allowed that behavior for so long, oh, baby, they going to be triggered and confused. But it's not for you to make them understand why you're doing it. I said what I said.
Period.
And always keep that energy.
Period. Period. And I also want to add to that when she was saying, like in her first video, where she was like, don't explain. One, you shouldn't have to explain yourself, because this is what I'm doing to make sense for me, right? This is what I'm doing to protect me. Excuse me. But on top of that, I feel like when you explain yourself after you've said what you said, it makes yourself seem unsure. It makes you seem unsure of yourself. So for some people, it gives them like that sliding. I feel like that's why a lot of men think that they can play with us, because we'll set a boundary, right? Or we'll say, we'll put this stipulation or this whatever here, right? And then when they get to questioning you, they can trip you up in that questioning, right? And then you're sitting there and you looked up and now you're being breadcrumbed again. Or, they do whatever they need to do for as long as they need to do it to keep you quiet. And then when they think that the coast is clear, then they're back on bullshit. And that's something that I've personally learned. Like, I'm not explaining myself anymore. I said what I said. Especially because if I tell you, hey, in order to take care of me, if you do X, Y, I'm going to go ahead and do Z. And then you turn around and do Z, I have to show you that I'm not to be fucking played with, right? If I just sit there and let it slide and we get to Y.5, you're going to think that like, oh, I can take her this far before she draws the line. No, like if there's nothing else that I've learned in these 34 years, and I've been preaching this for like the past few weeks, is like, leave people where they have you fucked up at. Don't give them a second chance to have you fucked up, because all it does is teach them how to better play in your face.
I am at a point in life where you can no longer manipulate me into feeling bad for how I feel or for how I choose to respond or react to something. Y'all remember back in the day where we used to be like, are you mad? Are you mad? Yes, bitch, I'm mad.
Right.
I'm upset. I'm fucking triggered. Period. A lot of people walk around the world miserable because they're too afraid to express how they really feel, because they're so concerned with someone knowing that they're upset or mad. Like, I'm a real bitch. You can't kill me.
Period.
Something a coworker said to me once that literally changed my whole perspective, and now I do this to everybody who's ever going through a breakup, is I got on a meeting with him and he was like, hey, like, how are you doing, whatever. And I told him, I was like, like, we broke up. And he was like, oh, congratulations. And I was like, what? And he was like, I hate when people say, like, I'm so sorry. He was like, obviously, if you broke up, that's not your person. Congratulations. You're one step closer to finding out, like, your person. And I was like, that is so good. Like, that is so good. My friend the other day was like, oh, yeah, like, blah, 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 I'm going through a breakup. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let you know, congratulations. And I, like, passed on that little nugget of information because I was like, hell yeah. Hell freaking yeah.
Perspective is everything. I love that.
You just got to set boundaries for yourself and be like, yo, I'm not going to be a people pleaser in any way, shape, or form. And man, honestly, if my boundaries, cause somebody to feel offended, then that's the whole point of having the boundary in the first place. Now, you're upset with me because I'm placing a boundary for my peace of mind? Yeah. Nah, I don't need you in my life to begin with.
You got to go. Got to kick push. And that's what I'm learning too, is that some people just simply ain't your people.
The one who got away would be like they were the one who did the leaving, and you were like, no, come back, I wanted to love you. No, apparently the one who got away is when you treat someone bad and they leave, and then you're like, oh no, come back, I wanted to love you.
I'm confused.
Do it right the first time? I'm sorry.
tiring. Definitely gets tiring. I understand.
Ladies. I don't know who told y'all this, but it is nothing wrong with being the girl that got away. Sometimes you need to get away. Get away from that man before it's too late. Don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to leave his ass right where he at. Become that girl who walked away. If that relationship no longer serves your purpose, it's not working out in your favor, you're not even getting the bare minimum, leave.
I have to agree with that. It's hard sometimes because you'll feel like. So, one of the things that has helped me a lot is checking myself when I'm worried about what something is going to look like, right? And so I feel like a lot of the time we stay in not even just romantic relationships, but friendships or familial relationships, right? Based off of an energy of lack, right? Like you feel like this may not come around again, or if I cut all these people off, I'm going to be by myself. If you're in a relationship and the relationship doesn't work out, then you're looking at it like, oh, this is another yet failed relationship, or what are people going to think? Or, there's all of these things that you go through. And what I have learned and I am learning and I'm reminding myself of is it doesn't matter what it looks like. What does it feel like to you? Because at the end of the day, we're all walking around in our own meat suits, right? And we're all having our own life experiences. And why should you be walking around miserable or unhappy or second guessing yourself because you want something to look a certain way to the people around you? And honestly, the people that we're so worried about half the time don't even have their shit together. Like, and this is just me self-reflecting, right? I had this conversation with my little sister yesterday. There are so many situations that I stayed in because I had a lack mindset. Like, I didn't want to lose people. But then when I really, really, really sat back and I self-reflected, these people were around me because I was sick, right? Like I wasn't yet in love with myself, because if 34-year-old me now, right, like met these people, if the person I am now met these people where I met them at then, like they would never had a time of day. There are family members that I should have cut off years ago. Like I had a conversation with my little sister yesterday and we were talking about relationships, and she was asking me about a previous relationship, and she said, when did you figure out that you should have left? And I told her, I said, to be honest with you, when it started. And I told her, I said, it was hard because I didn't want another failed relationship. I didn't want to feel like I was the problem. You know how you see like celebrities, like Keisha Cole, for instance, you see celebrities and they get in all these different relationships, and then every time some shit goes sour, it's just like, girl, sit the fuck down somewhere, right? And I'm very much like a long-term relationship girly. So it's like, I don't want to be asking a nigga every couple of days, like, what's your favorite color? So but I had to tell her, I said, this is coming from your big sister. I have to be honest with you because I don't want you in these type of situations, right? But I told her, I said, I was so worried about what it was going to look like. I was so worried about how me walking away was going to affect everybody else that I stayed way too long. And I used to always say that I had a fear of like, how was I going to know when to leave, right? But when I look back now and I look back at, once again, 34-year-old me, right? Looking back at like earlier 20s me, sorry, y'all, I'm trying to get comfortable in this seat. The flags always be there. And we have to start to like really get honest and serious with ourselves and say, what am I holding on to? Even with friendships, like there's so many friendships, y'all, and I've told it in plenty of these story times on here where, you want that, oh, I've been friends with somebody for 18 years, but it's like, what is the substance of that friendship? Like there's friends about 3 years ago, like 2021, 2022 was when God purged all of the fake friendships out of my life. Like I literally only have about 3 friends now. And the rest are acquaintances. And I don't throw that friend word around anymore like I used to. But I remember like wanting to have these super long-term friendships so I could brag on the longevity of my friendship. But when I look back, it was like there was nothing there. It was nothing there. It was just one of those like I know you, so I'm gonna stay right here type shit, right? And it's like that idea, those people that are like in relationships of like convenience or familiarity. So it's like, oh, because I know you, it's like I kind of know even all the bullshit that you come with. I know what you come with. So, and I've already kind of learned how to deal with that. I'm afraid that if I meet somebody else, that, you know, I'm gonna have to go through this again. When I think in reality, we don't realize that sometimes finding the strength to just leave people alone is the very thing that God is waiting on you to do so that he can send you the people, you know, that he has for you to have in your life. I watched this young lady's video on like how, like, making sure that when God gives you certain blessings, that you know how to take care of those blessings and steward those relationships and those blessings that he gives you. And a lot of times we ask God for things thinking that we're ready for them, and then when we get them, we drop the ball, right? And so for me, the place that I'm in my life right now is, I'm very honest. Like, me and my best friend now, when we were just client and stylist, and we started to kind of develop a friendship, I remember telling her, like, I have friendship PTSD and I'm not quite yet healed. And she was like, girl, me too. And we were able to work through those things together. And one of the things that I appreciate is me, her, and another girl. And one of the things that I appreciate about our relationship is that we're always able to be very honest with each other. Like, I love that when one of us, you know, maybe needs our friends around, we'll get in the group chat. Like, my best friend just did it, got in the group chat and said, hey y'all, I know that life is busy, but I really need my sisters right now. So if you guys could find some time just for a couple minutes out of your day, I could use a hug. It's something just as simple as that, right? Whereas in those relationships with unhealed people, or when you're not healed yourself, you take that time where you don't have that person around you, right? And you look at that as rejection. Or you start to like stew in shit, and you start to come up with all of these weird ass narratives that never were a thing, and now there's funk and you don't even know how you got there. So there's that. Like, so definitely I feel like that the whole adage of be the one that got away, I feel like that with everything, y'all. Like, I've applied this everywhere in my life. I know a lot of the time when we see these videos, a lot of them apply to like romantic relationships, which is why I wanted to like say my 2 cents on that. But it could be with anything. Like, there's family members where I love you, but I don't rock with you the way that I used to. And when I used to rock with you a certain way, you was playing with me. You know, like, I always say my biggest flex is removing myself. That's my biggest flex. My biggest get back is revoking access to me. There's so many people, and y'all know I've done videos on monitoring spirits too. Like, if I show y'all the views on my even just like on my personal page or on my business page, if I show you the views, y'all, there's so many people in them views. I don't think they know that I look at them, but there's so many people in them views that don't rock with me like that. Or there's so many people in them views where it's like, I know what you were saying. I'm a Gemini. I know what you was saying behind my back, but you're not even worth it to address, but you're watching me. You're watching me. Like, Hood Hiller said something yesterday along the lines of like, stop telling people you got ops. You don't got ops. You got secret admirers. And that's really what it be. Like, y'all don't like me, but there's some of y'all that's in my views every single day, right? There's some people that don't like you because your light shines too bright, bro. Or they don't like that, instead of just asking you like, you know, I see that you look happier these days, or I see that life is improving for you. What did you do? Instead of asking that, they just simply dislike you. They simply like they got funk with you because they got funk with themselves, right? But they watch you. And so it's a lot of it is like, when I pull away, then they realize like, oh shit, you know, oh, I can't see what she's doing anymore. Or, because I'm a person, I'm gonna block you. I can't, if I feel your energy, I don't want it. But, you know, it's not always a romantic relationship. It a lot of the time it just be all your relationships, period. Like, and revoking your access is another way to protect your peace and protect your energy, because even when you you may detach, right? But if you're still dealing with this person in some capacity, you're still giving your energy to them.
You gotta be the one who got away. The narc is programmed to keep you addicted. Now that you know that you've been abused, be the one who got away. Stay away. They kept you in an addicted ship. You were addicted to the behaviors. You were addicted to what you thought was love. You were addicted to somebody who you thought you could build with. Be the one that got away. Be the one that is now caught on to everything that the narc does and that they do. Be the professional mind fucker.
Period.
You gotta be the one who got away.
Period.
They call it the one that got away for a reason, because she left and he didn't want her to go. She escaped. She got away. You want to be the one that got away. You have to go. You gotta leave. You gotta go. The thing about me is I'm gonna always be the one that got away. Forever and always. I have the gift of goodbye. You have to leave when they want you to stay. And you're leaving because you're choosing yourself. This isn't what you want. Right. It's not acceptable. Majority of the time, your body doesn't feel good. You're depleted. The only way to be the one that got away is to leave, even if they want you to stay.
Yep.
Ever since I graduated high school, I have literally never been happier, and I genuinely think it's because I've been protecting my peace. And everyone tells you how important it is to protect your peace, but nobody tells you how to actually do it. So I'm gonna tell you. Hi, my name is Serenity. Let me help you. Stop oversharing. Stop telling people every little detail of your life. Stop telling people who don't deserve to know you things that they don't need to know. Evil eye is such a real thing, and even if you don't realize it, for every one person that is supporting you, there are a million people who don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you be the best version of yourselves. They just hate to see people doing better than them. Do not let them have the opportunity to send bad energy your way. I always say this in every single thing that I post, but I'm going to keep saying it until it sticks. Set goals in private and produce results in public. Don't tell anybody, because evil eye is such a real thing. You can still post on social media without posting really anything at all. Like, you just have to figure it out where you're posting everything, but you're really posting nothing. And influencers and celebrities do this. Like, I post 4 to 5 times a day, but you don't know what's going on in my relationships or my life or my goals or my plans or anything like that. And then in that way, I can protect myself, if that makes sense. They always come back, and when they do come back, don't let them, because they don't deserve to know this better version of you. They don't deserve to have your attention again, and if they really appreciated you the first time, they wouldn't have fumbled you. If you have a roster, clear it, get rid of it. There are so many better things that you can be doing with your time than talking to people who don't actually care about you and they just want your attention. Like, I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's true.
See, that's the one thing that I never did. I never was like the roster girly. I know that there's women that do it. For me, it's just too much juggling of energy. Like, it's just too much talking to too many people. I get overstimulated. Like, that's just, I can't. And I feel like maybe it took me a little bit longer, maybe that's why it took me a lot longer to come around, because I would actually be the person giving like one person my energy. But the roster thing, the thought of it is exhausting. Like, the idea of like, so I have to entertain like multiple of you.
Pick and choose who you hang out with and who you let into your life from here on out, because not everybody deserves to know you. Not everybody deserves your time. Not everybody deserves your energy. Not everybody deserves access to you. Even if you are a really good person, not everybody deserves access to you. Do not sacrifice your own peace of mind and your own peace for somebody else. Like, you can help someone else, but don't sacrifice your own for somebody else. My last thing, this is the most important thing that I could tell you. Learn to be by yourself and actually enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy my own company, and I prefer it most of the time. I can go on dates by myself. I can go out by myself. just doing this makes you realize that you really don't need to be dependent on anybody. This doesn't mean that I don't have friends, this doesn't mean I don't go out, but learning how to be by myself really boosted my confidence and my self-awareness, and I could truly focus on myself. So this is how I protect my peace. Hopefully this helps. I love you all. Go be hot girls. Please protect your peace, because that is the one thing that literally nobody can take away from you unless you let them. So yeah.
I love that. I 100% agree.
Have to learn that people come and go out of your life like the seasons, and you have to be able to stand 10 toes by yourself and come to a point where you're just like, I'm good with me. Like, if you have to come out my life, I'm straight, and if you want to stay, I'm good too. Learn to accept the fact that not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever.
I agree with this. I also, like, I literally just said the other day, like, there's not one person in my life that I tried to hold on to that was worth holding on to, if that makes sense. Like, that whole idea, like, even if someone wants to go, let them go. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. Like, I look back and there's so many times where, like, I was really trying, like, damn near killing myself, y'all, trying to keep people around and the people pleasing, and you don't realize how toxic that is to yourself. Like, one of the things I've been doing recently is, y'all know that I have been on a weight loss journey. I talked about that. There's a lot of, like, if you look at my earlier videos on here, I was uploading about my VSG journey. And I had always been, like, small, right? And then when I had my son, my oldest son, sorry y'all, the dog got up and I'd be trying to make sure he's a little under the weather. So I'm trying to make sure that he's not doing anything that he ain't supposed to be doing over there. Anyway, yeah, so when I had my oldest son, I remember just being so happy to be pregnant, and I gained the weight, but I wasn't really too concerned about it. And I was like, I'll get it off, you know, and I was very much dedicated to doing that. Right. And I remember, when I left that relationship with his father is when the weight started falling off. Right. So there's a book called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. She's since passed away, but I owe that woman my whole life. I swear to y'all. Like, she spoke on the fact that in losing weight, losing weight is losing the dead weight of other people. And when you learn to let people go, or you get these things, you start to release your trauma, the weight will fall off. And part of it is because people forget that, like, yes, toxic energy, it also manifests in your body, just like, you know, chemical toxins and things can, right? And so a lot of the time, your body's holding on to this weight as a means to keep you safe. If I can find, well, I don't have time to do it today, but I'll come back with an excerpt. But this could not be any truer in my life, right? So I remember, like, I had got small, I lost the weight, you know. Then I ended up, when I left him, I got another relationship. And it's funny because for a while, like, you know, I was cool, I was whatever. And then towards the end of that relationship, I started gaining weight again. And I didn't look bad. I was heavier than what I was used to being, so I wasn't happy about that. But a lot of it was, like, it was the toxicity. That was a very toxic relationship. The individual was toxic. The people on my phone telling me about him were toxic. And it started to manifest in my appearance. Like, I still look like me, right? But I was carrying the weight of all of these things, right? And then I didn't want those people to know that, you know, they were getting to me. I've always been one of those ones, like, I'm not gonna let you see me sweat, right? But it was showing in my physical. It was showing in the weight gain. It was showing in how puffy my face was. And then same thing, when I let him go, I started to look healthier. Then I got in, you know, another relationship. Well, my current relationship, I had got in my current relationship, and, you know, in that relationship, I had my 2 kids, my 2 with him. And I obviously, you know, gained weight from back-to-back pregnancies, but my last, I want to say from like 2020 on, kind of did a number on my mental, right? Because I was trying to lose the weight from my second baby, right? And then I get pregnant with my third. And then the pandemic did a number on my mental. I went through postpartum. It was just a lot. It was a lot. I didn't have the support that I needed. I had the support that everybody was trying to offer. And I always say that that was a turning point in my life because so much for me changed. Like, that was when I learned how to speak up because I got to a point where it was just like, nobody's listening to me. Like, I'm talking and nobody's listening to me. And it got to a point where I had to really just start saying like, be quiet for a second. Like, listen to me, like I could remember, telling him like, hey, like, I'm not okay. I'm stressed out. I need more support at home because he was an essential worker. And then I was at home with all the kids because I was a hairstylist and state board or the state of California, we couldn't work at the time. And I was telling him what was going on and he just kept like fighting me back with everything I was saying. I remember screaming like, this is not about you. Like, I'm telling you I'm not okay and you're still making it about you. Like, and it was like, that was when something went off in my head. Stinky just texted me, y'all. 1 second. But that was like when the light bulb went off. And it was like, uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. The boy is texting me. And I'm wondering if it's some good news that I need to share with y'all because he's typing in all caps. And I feel like if I start finishing what I was telling y'all, he's going to send the next message. We'll get back to him. Anyway, so yeah, that's when like the light bulb went off. Like, and it was just like, no, say what you mean what you say, tell people what you need. And if they can't or they won't, leave well enough alone. You know what I mean? And so I've started to learn to really, truly take care of me. Oh, that's such good news. All right. So y'all's nephew is texting me and he was letting me know there's a class that he had to take entering into high school that was like helping him with his English class. And the funny thing with him is he can tell a story, he can write his ass off, but we're going through that phase. He's almost 12. We're going through that phase where if it's not important to him, he doesn't apply himself. And so I've been trying to get him to understand that like that's when you need to fight the hardest because you don't want to have to be bothered with it again. So he was letting me know that that particular class, that he's almost getting ready to transition out of that class and that he can go into the elective that he wants. So that's what's happening over there. But anyway, so yeah, I had to really learn like to take care of me first. And be unapologetic regardless of what that looked like, And so I remember like every day what I started to do was me and the kids would start to like get out the house. So me and the kids would go like on a walk. So I'd put the twins, Lord Jesus, they act like twins. I'd put the toddlers in the double stroller and we would walk. And we started to make that our daily routine. And it was I wasn't so stuck in the house anymore, and I was losing the weight, and all of that. And then I remember at some point, and this is just me just like reflecting on because sometimes we'll put ourselves in these toxic cycles and it's easier to put the blame on other people when we don't really sit down and say, okay, what part did I have in this? What part did I play in this to myself? Right. And so I remember I kind of fell back into that same like toxic state. And then there was a lot going on in our house. Like we had a family member move in and it got to a point, I'm just going to say the devil was real busy. And once again, I started to pack on the weight. And then at that point I realized, you know what? This is not working for me. Like no one's hearing me. I'm out of here. And I took me and my babies and I dipped out. And I moved. I got a different place, just me and them. And I really started working on myself. I'm talking about, baby, I was in here dark night of the soul, losing my mind, screaming at the top of my lungs, praying, begging God for peace, right? And I think the highest weight that I got was 260. And I don't think I have a picture on here to show y'all what I look like. But baby, when I tell y'all I was miserable, but like I said, you can go back and look at my videos on my page, my VSG videos, and the very first video that I posted about it, like when I got, why I was doing it, when I got approved. And you can just see in my face, y'all, I was not happy. I look back at those videos and I don't even recognize myself. Like I was trying as hard as I could to love me in that moment, because that was one of the things that the book taught me was, love yourself in every stage and allow yourself grace for where you are in the moment. But I wasn't happy. And so I remember calling my doctor and telling my doctor, like, listen, I'm trying all of these things. I need help. And I just committed to myself that, like, I would never allow any outside energies to make me feel or to even energetically put me in that place again. And I've been cool. Y'all see, I got a collar. What? I got my collarbone back. Don't play with me. Like, but I said it to say that I had to shed the dead weight. And the more people that I let go, y'all, the more weight I lost. The less I stopped worrying about what other people were doing around me, the more weight I lost. Like y'all see this smile is genuine. I don't have to force it. Like, and I remember, I think it was my mom that was telling me one day, she was like, you just look happier. She was like, you genuinely look happier. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't happy then. Like I was trying to, I was being performative back then, but like, I'm genuinely happy. I'm genuinely comfortable, and I'm not attached to any outcomes anymore. I just am very much like, okay, like, even when things don't look right to me, I just do a simple, hey God, the other day me and God were talking and I just was like, you know what, God, I'm a little scared. I'm a little anxious for this next stage in my life, but I'm grateful. Like I'm excited. It's like, it's the fear of the unknown, but it's like every time I kept my mustard seed in my pocket, God always showed up and showed out. And I'm really in a place at this very moment where I don't know what's next with anything, right? Like with anything, I'm talking about with my business, with my finances, with anything. Like God has been testing my temperature, y'all. But I'm grateful, because if not for those past life experiences, if not for those past hurts, if not for those past I told you so's to myself, if not for like leaving people where they had me fucked up at, letting people go, I would never even be here to be able to have these conversations with you all.
Y'all are gonna have to stop thinking that the one who got away is the woman that he's going to regret when he gets older. And when he gets married, he's gonna think about the one who got away. No, let me tell you who the one who got away is. The one who got away is the woman who cracked the code on who that man was before any other woman did, and decided that she's not gonna put up with it. The one who got away is the woman who knew who that man was before any other woman knew who that man was. And she made a choice to say, I'm not going to deal with this.
See, where a lot of people get it mixed up is that they believe that when a guy's talking about the woman that really got away, they're thinking about the girl that was on and off with him for years and was going back and forth with him. But what y'all have to realize is that, especially if the guy's attractive or he has money and he's toxic, that's going to be a pattern for him. There's going to be a lot of girls that are willing to be on and off with him regardless. Just because he got a nice face. The girl that really got away is the one that got him thinking, yo, I wonder what would have happened if she would have stayed. Yep. And that's typically the girl that left years ago, that didn't even give him an opportunity to waste their time. And he's going to think about that girl and consider her the one that got away because she never looked back. I mean, like, she wasn't willing to argue. She wasn't willing to go back. None of that. She recognized what her worth was. She seen what was going on. She knows that guy to his core. Like, she knows everything about him and what he's about, and she never accepted it. Y'all also got to remember, there's a lot of ego that comes with having a girl that's willing to be down for you and go through the trenches with you and be there for you and be solid. And like I've told y'all before, there's a lot of guys that are willing to wait years for her to fold and become weak again, to give him that extra chance. So when he runs into that one girl that it doesn't matter how much time goes by, her stance on him still stays the same. It's like, wow, like what? But anyways, man, I think y'all spend too much time worrying about who got away and who didn't get away and who's the girl that wasted years. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you don't become that girl that's gonna stay there and waste time with anybody for the rest of your time being on this earth, you will be fine. Focus on that.
Look, I'd rather be the one that got away than the one that stayed too long and you gotta get away from me now. You feel me? Because all that do is, when I stayed to adapt, I became what you disliked.
Exactly.
So now you leave me. My mama was a broken woman. You feel me? So I would look for my mama in a woman, but not knowing I was looking for the broken version of them.
Ooh-wee.
You know what I'm saying? And then when I get with them,
Come on, realization.
I'm trying to fix them. But in the process of trying to fix them,
You breaking yourself.
I'm really saying, yo, if I could fix this woman, she would never leave me. She'll never abandon me. But really, I already done abandoned myself because I'm tolerating things that I shouldn't tolerate. You know what I'm saying?
You're lowering your bar just to break even.
Yeah.
It's wild to hear a man say that because normally we hear, you know, women, and maybe because we're a little more verbal than them and sometimes more self-aware. But that was definitely me. Like I was always I could just love you into whoever you're. No, baby, no. And if I was, like, I always talk about being healed and going to see the lady, but me now,
And then she lose respect for me because she knows I shouldn't be tolerating that, so she leave. And then now what? Now you hurt. Now I stayed with you. I could have been. You fucked up in the head. And
a lot of you women want a show and tell dude. I'm working on my show and tell. And if you cannot understand that this comes with time, patience, then it's not gonna work.
Yo, I really hate being the one that got away. Like, in a friendship, in a relationship, like, that shit is so irritating. There's nothing more exhausting than when time passes by, people think they could come in and be like, oh, you were right, da-da-da, I'm sorry.
I don't even want it.
Like,
I know.
I hate hearing
Thank
that.
you.
I hate hearing, oh my God, you were right. Like, why does it take y'all months down the line? Why does it take y'all losing me to realize what I was saying? The stuff I say is not to harm you guys. It's simply to put you in perspective. But y'all don't get that until I really woke up. I fell off with a friend, and she recently reached out to me to apologize and whatever. And one of the things she said when she was apologizing was, I'm sorry I acted that way. I just wasn't ready to accept what you were saying. I knew all the things you were saying was correct, but I wasn't ready to accept those things about myself.
I've had people telling me that.
I know you're not that ass. Like, I get it, taking days to yourself and reevaluating the situation, but months later, years later,
there's no time limit on it.
I'm sorry, I can't.
People
I
got to
just
do the
can't.
work.
It's so
But you don't have to
exhausting be
accept them back into
understood
your
months
life.
down the line when you're already over the situation.
Yeah.
Because it's like, bro, what are you telling me this for? Like, I moved on from our relationship already. I gave the graces and the goodbyes already. Our friendship could no longer.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, that's literally it. It's a curse being more self-aware than other people. I swear to God. Like,
yes,
it's
Lord.
exhausting, bro.
It,
Like,
yeah,
really is.
I agree.
Like, people really take you telling them something about themselves as an attack, and it's like, bro, y'all can't take constructive criticism. You can't
'Cause it's
take
forcing
what I'm
them to
saying
see
and
themselves.
learn to
I had
see
to
things
learn
from
that.
my perspective to be able to grow from it. No,
Yeah.
everything got to be a falling out with y'all motherfuckers. That's the problem, bro. Like, I got to go live under a rock for the rest of my life, I swear.
So what I've learned with that is a lot of the time we are the mirror, right? And I remember I used to like tell my mom all the time, like, I don't understand how I keep ending up in these situations. And this is part of the reason why I made this video, right? Is because a lot of us, obviously, when you do the work, or like in her case, I don't want to mispronoun her because I don't know if she wants to be a she or, you know, but I'm just gonna say she because I know that is a woman. Okay. A lot of the time, until we learn how to set boundaries for ourselves, a lot of us, with us being healers, we attract people that need to be healed. And like I said, for me, before I did the work on me and I really started to realize, you know, where I was making certain errors at, I was the person that wanted to fix people. and I wanted to help people, and I wanted to help them realize and actualize their potential. And you have to learn that that's not your job. Like, God made these people. If they need to go and be fixed, they need to go see Ayanla, or they need to go, really, truly, because she need to fix her goddamn self, but they need to go and see the lady. Like, a lot of the time, too, I've noticed that the resistance from people that you know comes because you know them. Whereas if you are talking to a therapist, right, the therapist has a way of asking questions that bring you around to yourself, where you go, oh shit. Excuse me. So that's what that was. You know, like, I've been in those situations where you're trying to tell somebody, hey, XYZ, and they're just tripping out on you. I've literally only had one person in my whole life that acted in such a way with me and then came back and was like, you know what? I owe you an apology because the place that I was in was trash and I was believing this and believing that, and I wanted so bad to make you the bad guy. My bad. I've had people come back to me and be like, oh, you were right when you were talking about this, this, and this. But that particular person was the only person that actually was just like, you know what? I was an asshole and I apologize. You know, so I get it. I just think a lot of it, like we've been talking about this whole video, a big part of it really is setting boundaries in order to protect your peace, and, you know, letting those people go. And then another thing that I do too is when someone does come with that apology, I do tell them thank you. I say thank you. I appreciate that. But internally, that's not an open door to let you back into my life. And you might have changed. But you will never have access to me. Period. Like, you will never have access to me again. Because I feel like if you show me that this is who you are, it is a possibility that might be you again. And every single time I've given someone grace, they show their ass again because they're used to you giving them grace. So I had to learn. One of the biggest things that I learned was forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation.
You know what always happens to a man that gets broken? He tries to go back to the one that he should have never let go. And she's already long gone.
Be the woman that got away, not the woman that stayed working hard to be chosen. Because being chosen is actually not something that you have to work for. Because one big major regret I have in my past dating life is being the woman staying tolerating BS, putting up with a bunch of shit that was beneath me, really. Instead of being a woman that just decided, this isn't good enough for me, you're not good enough for me, and moving on.
Yep.
If I'm being honest, I really did let a man trick me into proving my worth, because if he didn't find me worthy, I took the shit personal, and I wanted to show him that, yes, I am worthy.
Watch this. Yes.
And it's essentially because I didn't quite know my own worth. I just know that I was a good woman. And so I was determined to prove that. I took it so personally when a man couldn't see my worth. One thing you must understand is that the moment you start trying to prove your worth is the moment that your value decreases.
Yes, y'all. Yes. I'm so glad that she made that video, because I felt the same. That is one of the, with myself, like that was one of the biggest errors that I made. And then when you leave them alone, then they start to list off all these qualities to you, like, in order to get you back. And you're like, oh, so you saw me. So you been saw me. So you knew. Oh, okay. Like, all right, so so you're stupid. So you was playing with me the whole time. Okay. This goes back to people will keep you around and play in your face because it benefits them.
Cheers to being a girl who got away and then stick around and stay for no bullshit. Who knew her worth, knew her value, and kept it moving. Cheers to the one who realized that staying with you wasn't worth the hassle. And realizing that I could never build a castle with you. Because it's hard being with a king who don't even know he's a king. And it's hard being with a man that don't know you a queen. Cheers to being the one who got away. Who didn't stay. Who kept it pushing, who kept it moving. I'm the one who got away.
One thing about me, I'm not into keeping no nigga that don't want to be kept. Life be so crazy sometimes because you can meet somebody and think they the one. Whole time the shit really seasonal. I believe that sometimes we meet certain people just for the sake of the experience. I know 100% in my heart that some of the guys I came across were only here to show me exactly what I don't want in a man. I remember telling one of my exes, like, listen, even if it's not me, I'll be content with the fact that I was able to show you what real love really was. Sometimes you meet other people to build them up, to make them a better person for the next person. Maybe he was the assignment. Maybe you were the lesson. You ever heard of the one that got away? Sometimes you gotta evaluate the situation and take things into perspective, especially if it was a situation where you did absolutely no wrong, like you were the perfect girlfriend, perfect boyfriend, and you had a motherfucker do you so bold, like the absolute unthinkable. That was an assignment, and you was the lesson. You could stick it out, call yourself being his ride or die, thugging it out with him, letting him drag you through the mud, but you only prolonging what's really for you. You supposed to take this shit as a lesson learned and get the fuck gone. Sometimes we let attachment issues keep us in situations that we have no business being in. A lot of these niggas is looking for a good time. Some of these niggas is looking for a place to stay. A lot of these niggas is looking to get revenge from the girl that hurt him when he was 15 years old.
Baby.
You too loyal. You too pure. You too damn supportive to keep trying to keep somebody that don't want to be kept. Put your feelings to the side for a second so you can understand the assignment and really learn the lesson. It's better to be the one that got away than the one that never saw her worth.
I agree.
Maybe you gotta be the woman that got away. You ever thought about that? Sometimes, like, we so desperately want to be the woman for a man, especially a man that we love. But maybe it was meant for us to get away.
But that's when you're not healed.
Cause a motherfucker just gonna keep playing with you. Sometimes you gotta go so a motherfucker won't keep playing with you. Some men don't give a fuck about no love.
Yeah.
They don't care that we love them. They don't care that when we feel like we not with them, we can't motherfucking breathe. They don't care. So sometimes you ain't got no choice but to be the woman that got away. Go. Focus on you. Get your mental together. He fucked up your mental. Get your mental together. Get your heart together. Cause when you're going through a heartbreak and when you're dealing with a heartbreak, that's a different kind of ball game. Get your shit together. Just be the woman that got away. And what I've noticed in my 28 years, it's better to be the woman that stay away. Until you see change. If you see change, but sometimes you're not going to see no change. You're not going to see no change. Just get away and stay away.
Period. I agree.
Listen, if you really want to make a statement, the best thing you can do is be the one that got away and stayed away.
Ladies, if you really want to make a man regret playing with you, playing on your top, don't go online sharing no memes. Don't go online sneak this and making no posts. Don't do none of that. The best way to make a motherfucker feel it is to do nothing at all. Don't try to express yourself. Don't give them nothing to feed off of. The guilt alone is gonna eat them alive. See, this way y'all fuck up at. Y'all really be trying to make a motherfucker feel bad, so y'all try to equate getting your lick back with bringing somebody else into the picture. That ain't the answer. See, now you trying to make this person feel like you having a good time with somebody else. The only thing you're doing is giving them the green light to justify whatever they did to you to begin with. Like, this how men think. Oh damn, she got a new dude already. She probably been fucking with, bro.
Yep.
So I'm not even finna feel bad about the shit that I did because she was doing the same shit to me, obviously. Trust me, I done seen this with my own eyes. People will lie to themselves to make them seem like they not in the wrong. But if you let a motherfucker know, like, there's nobody else in the picture that's influencing me to not fuck with you. There's nobody telling me I shouldn't fuck with you. All of this is on me. I don't want to fuck with you because you flaw. I don't want to fuck with you because I don't want to fuck with you. You did what you did. Now you got to live with it. Yep. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. All that other shit, that shit don't do nothing but give a motherfucker the out. When you standing on your 10 by yourself, you ain't got to bring nobody else in to influence your decision or none of that shit. That's what make a motherfucker feel it.
Real shit. Yeah. Been there.
I hear a lot of people talk about being the one who got away, and now that's such a great feeling. Period. I'm sure it is a great feeling. Yes, sir, you got away. Yes, ma'am, you got away. Claps to you. But y'all don't talk about the ones who got left and stayed away. The ones who got left and didn't double back. The ones who got left and said, bet say less, I'm gonna let you have it.
Yep.
Y'all don't
that's
talk
real
about people
too.
like that. Because there's just as much power in getting left and staying away as much as being the one that got away. Like,
that's real.
You left me and I'm not begging you. You left me and I let you have it. You left me and I didn't double back. You left me and I'm just out here living my life like I never even knew you.
And they'll gaslight you too, so you never cared.
That's self-control in that too. Like, that's accountability and discipline.
I went through that with a
For
friendship.
yourself not to double back. Not to beg nobody to choose you. Like, we hold just as much power as y'all do. Thank you.
That's real. I went through that in a friendship. Like, the friend reached out and was like, hey, you know, here's the issues that I have, yada, yada, yada. And I responded and was like, hey, I'm going to validate how you feel. I'm working right now. I'll get back to you later. Right? I didn't answer that friend fast enough, baby. Baby blew up. I'm talking about a whole social media campaign and just doing the most. Like, doing the most. Like, yeah, so after 13 years, bitch, here's what I think about you. And you know what I did? I blocked her. Never replied. Never said nothing. I blocked her. And she, like, reached out to my mom. My mom told me what was going on. And my mom was like, you know, do you want me to respond? And I was like, no, ma'am. The friendship is over. I'm good. But there's people that, you know, they were raised on survival. They weren't raised on love. And so they deal with you from a place of like, you know, I'm going to act like this and you should forgive me because it's me. No, I forgive you, but you don't get to be around me anymore. So stand on that, stand on what you said and stay where you are. Like, it's no hard feelings, but stay your ass over there. I'm good.
Let me just say this. Always be the one to walk away. When a man make you feel like an option, walk away. Let that bitch think, oh, he chose me. Oh, I'm the one for him. I'm the one that won. You be the girl that got away. Because at the end of the day, she's still going to be in his life fighting, trying to prove that she's the one for him. And the whole time, you the girl that got away. You moved on. You're happy. So who was the one that really won?
Yeah.
Don't fight me, but I believe the difference between the one who got away and the one who fumbled is going to be what you do after the breakup.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I just feel like you could be thinking you're the one who got away. But if you crash out after the breakup, you give the other person a right to be like, glad I missed out on that. You know what I'm saying? Now they no longer fumbled because you out here tweaking. This is also your reminder to not tweak out after that breakup. Use that time to level up. Do not go looking for love in all the wrong places. Do not go looking for attention in all the wrong places. It will not end well. Nope. I am telling you, level up.
Now you being double.
Don't crash out. Do some self-work. Don't crash out.
See the lady.
Spend time with yourself. Don't crash out. I don't care who you was during that relationship. I feel like the tell all of who actually got away and who actually fumbled is going to be the level up afterwards or the lack thereof. That's just me though. Tell me if you disagree, but that's just me though.
I agree.
That's just me though. If you crash out, they no longer fumbled. You feel me?
Yep. Like the man said, like, you make it look like you think you gave them a good enough reason.
When a man is in constant lingo between you and another woman, you always gotta let the other woman have it. I don't care how much in love you is with the nigga. Like, sometimes we be so in love with, we like, oh, bitch, I ain't gonna quit fucking with him until I feel like
I was that stupid before.
Baby, you need to feel like it
you
today.
You need to feel like it, oh God.
You need to feel like it today.
You need to feel like it yesterday.
Because all that back and forth, first of all, I can't compete. I ain't got time. Because you know what? When two women is in competition or multiple women is in competition over one man, that shit could get Tetris. Like, that shit could get so ugly. And it's like, who about to compete? Who about to compete when there's one man that really knows who he want, what he want? He probably could have been dealing with her for a couple years and you for a couple years, and now he don't know which one he want. That's a lie. That's a lie. A man though, he know which one, but they be in like a little power mode, a power trip.
Yep.
Like I got two of them
Boosting that
geeking
ego.
over me, like they gawking, they geeking over me, they doing whatever I ask them to do. Who gonna give that up? Like, be honest. Who gonna get that up? They're not gonna get that up. Even though a real person that don't want to play with nobody's feelings for real would have been like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and end this right now because I know I ain't gonna be able to treat her right. I ain't gonna nothing. But a lot of times they want their cake and they want to eat it too. So they know they can't treat you right. They know they probably can't even treat the other girl right either. But now y'all in competition and she doing so much things. Like, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that for him. I bet you she not doing that for you.
Maybe go ahead and tire yourself out.
And you know what? I be like, you damn right. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that shit. Stay over there.
Right.
You damn right. I'm not doing that. No. So a lot of times, let the other woman have it. Let her have it.
Real shit.
Ain't nobody got time for that competition. Just sit there, work on yourself, and let a real one come in your life and show you how it's supposed to be done.
I feel like you done all the right things for the wrong person.
Say it again. People always talking about fumbling the bag. Y'all be talking about money. I ain't talking about money. I'm talking about fumbling people of value. Fumbling people that you meet one time in a lifetime. People that you don't get twice. Energies that you can't find elsewhere. People that'll sacrifice for you, love for you, fight for you, do for you, and then you shit on them. You can't shit where you sleep and not expect to smell like poo.
Period.
You can't get back at a dude by getting at another dude. Like, my get back is just glowing up. I ain't getting back by talking to nobody else. Like,
And then you end up meeting the same person, like just in a different body, because you didn't heal from that last person.
You stop being so fucking available for them, then you're gonna start seeing your self-fucking worth. Because lately, it's looking like a motherfucker is not showing you what the fuck you're worth. But if you don't know your own fucking worth, bitch, who the fuck is supposed to know it?
Hello. Yes. Eat them up, girl. Real
don't feel bad to just cut a person off. Sometimes you just gotta let it go and let God. You gotta let people go and let God figure it out. Like, if it's worth it, it'll come back. If not, I ain't doing it. Because sometimes we hold on to things. That's that loyalty. That's that good heart. You know, like trying to hold on to things, trying to help people. That's not helping you.
Yeah. And we be loyal to a fault. Hurting yourself.
If you understood your value, you would probably be quicker to walk away from bullshit. Like, for me at this point in my life, I'm not spinning the block on bullshit.
You better say that.
You just can't keep spinning the block on bullshit. You really can't. And you have to have self-respect, and you have to have boundaries.
Yes.
You just do.
Yes.
And you gotta value yourself. If you don't value yourself, trust and believe a man won't value you.
Nobody will. Nobody will. I know they keep saying the man, but like this.
And it was because I showed up as a desperate bitch. I'm gonna just talk about it.
Yes,
okay,
Lord.
let's put it on the floor. I
I've
showed
been
up
there
as a bitch who needed somebody. I needed a companion. I needed somebody to be on the side of me.
Yeah.
I needed a friend. I needed a lover. I needed that. And I feel like when I gave out that energy, they took advantage of me.
Yeah.
From the top to the bottom. Anything, I was always ready and willing to give. And I never got anything.
They can smell it.
They can smell it on you.
They can smell it. Yes, they can smell that desperation.
Every time I talk to you, you're draining me. What are you bringing to the table? You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't look at people for what could you do for me, but after a while, that becomes a thing, especially when you're draining me.
That's a fact.
Because now I'm noticing I'm not getting watered at all from here. Okay, if I cut this off, I will be better.
It's a desert.
Yes, it's a desert.
That's real. It's a desert here.
You know what? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Cash be dropping.
You know, I just got to a point where I just accept things for what it is, and it makes my life way more peaceful.
Yeah.
You know, like it just is what it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's just lately, that's just all I say. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I accept it and I try to change it because I don't like it. You just accept things for what it is. And you find a way to live through that.
Right.
You know, because one thing about life, something's always going to be happening. So once you realize how to live life with things happening all the time, that's when you start living.
Yep.
Because that shit ain't going to stop.
That's for real. I think this
really
is,
had to remember who I am and that I am worthy, you know, and that I'm enough, and that I just had to remind myself that. And I'm like, you know what? But you know, it was a crazy year of having to go through all of those questions and all of that doubt so I could stand strong today, you know, and know like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is who I am now in this time, and I'm so thankful that I went through all of that because I grew so much because of it.
Yep. So I believe that is, that's the last one. So I want to go back to what Cash Doll was saying when she said that now I just accept things for what they are. That's where I'm at. Like, I have this saying, when people do things to me or they just move in a way that I don't appreciate, I just go, that's what you were supposed to do. That's it. I just go, that's what they were supposed to do. And the reason why I say that is because it may be that this is who you are. It may be that this was the lesson that I was supposed to learn from the situation, but whatever happened, that was what was supposed to happen. Now, and then if I'm in a situation where I can't see what God is trying to get me to see from that situation, I ask for clarity. So there's times where you feel like, oh, I've been here before. Like in the particular state that I'm in right now, I've been in this space before, but I'm different. And I'm so grateful that God, I didn't understand it when it first started to happen, but I'm so grateful that God brought it all around full circle, because I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh my God, I was here before. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm back in the same place I was in. Like, how did I get here? Well, now that I've gotten through the woe was me and feeling sorry for myself, right? Now I'm like, oh, I was here before, but I'm different. Let me, I know what to do now. You know, it's like when you play like Crash Bandicoot or Super Mario. I'm a 90s baby. You play one of those games and you know, like you lose a level and it drops you back off at the checkpoint and you're like, oh, I know what to do now. It's like that, right? So they always say that people hurt you when you have expectations of them, right? And I'm really like looking at people for who they are. Like I have a family member and I used to want their approval so bad. Like I used to just do everything. Like they said that I should do this, I'm gonna go do this. They want me to do this, I'm gonna go do this. And then I grew up and I realized, oh, they were gaslighting me into this person they wanted me to be, right? And then every time I wouldn't move how they wanted me to move, y'all, like they would bully me. They would be rude to me. They would be like so nasty to me. And it would make me question myself, like, well, damn, am I the problem? Am I, you know? And the more work I started doing myself, I realized like, oh, it's not me, it's you. You the problem. But I hold myself accountable for staying in this environment for so long, right? And so there was something that happened not too long ago. And we were just having a conversation, just regular conversation. We were talking. And I made a statement and I was like, oh, you know, I'm in this place now where like God is calling me to kind of downsize certain areas of my life, right? And so I have this car and I don't like the car. Like I don't like it. I feel like I'm paying a note for something I don't like. It's a whole nother story for another day. I'm grateful to have a car, but I'm just not attached to this car. And so I had already set a plan in motion for myself that like, okay, come, you know, for my birthday next year, I'll have my degree by then. And so my way of celebrating myself next year will be to actually go and get the car that I want, because by then all of these payments, all these on-time payments are going to show I had just paid off this other car, yada, 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 right? And at first there was a luxury car that I wanted, but when I got into that car, I just didn't have the experience that I thought I was going to have. And I was just like, okay, well, now I know what this feels like and I'm good, you know? And so I slipped up and I told this family member, like, yeah, I'm finna go get this S&S car. And they were like, why would you get that kind of car? And I was just like, well, that's what I want. And I'm driving a car that I don't want right now. And everything, this new car is a 2025 and it has everything that I want, that I wanted in that luxury car and that I wanted in this car that I have now. And it's $4,000 cheaper than this car that I'm driving right now that I don't care for. And they were just so like facetious, like, well, I don't get it. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. You have kids. How are they going to fit in the back seat? Yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay. But I started to find myself, at one point, I found myself explaining myself because it's something that by habit I used to do with this person. And then I caught myself. And I was just like, okay, my kids are not little. Like, I would never, like, obviously, I'm a great fucking mom, right? Like, I'm a dope enough mom to never put my children in a position where they're uncomfortable for my comfort, right? So I remember them saying like, well, I just don't get it. And I was just like, you know what? It's not for you to get. That's why God gave me the vision. And they kind of tripped them up and they was like, oh, and they had an attitude, but I didn't care. And I was so fucking proud of myself, y'all, for not caring, because this particular person, y'all, I wanted this person's fucking approval my entire life. And I've gotten to a point where I am not attached to any outcome having to do with you. Like, I love you down, but your approval doesn't mean shit to me. You're not God. You're not God. And then you have to look at yourself and look at the people that are judging you or trying to like project shit on you and ask yourself, okay, where am I at right now and where are they at? And if they're an elder, where were they in the space that you're in right now? And when you start to do that, and then also ask yourself, why am I explaining myself to this person? You're not God. You don't give me my blessings. You know, so that's how I had to start looking at things and dealing with people, period. But I really hope that this video sows into whoever may need it. I hope that this video gives you the spiritual nourishment that you needed. Because it's hard, you know, and a lot of the times too, choosing yourself can be a very lonely road. This is why I've created like this community of us so that we all have each other to talk to about these types of things. Because when when you begin to choose yourself and the more work you do on yourself, you're going to lose people along the way. And I always say lose very loosely. You're going to lose people along the way because you're just no longer aligned with them anymore. You're going to get those, oh, you think you're better than me people. You're going to get those, oh, she's acting funny now. Baby, I got all of that. I got all of that. And I don't apologize for it. Because the day that I put me first, outside of those babies, the day that I put me first, things just started to exponentially get better for me. When I stopped giving people the power to emotionally and mentally, like, you know, manipulate and starve me, y'all, like, look at me. Like, look at me. You know what I mean? Like, things are just different. I got another video coming up, but I literally put a thread out the other day and I said, I used to think that I was introverted, but I realize now I just never had a safe place to truly be who I am. And now that I've created that safe space with myself, I'm not as introverted as I thought I was. Like, I'm happy to be with myself. Like, I enjoy my space by myself. But I realized that part of me labeling myself as an introvert was like, oh, I don't want to talk to people because people are dangerous or people are weird or people's energies or whatever. Whereas now I'm in a place where I trust myself a lot more. And so when I see something and it doesn't feel right to my nervous system, I let that shit go. And so now I'm a lot more outgoing in a way that I was never before because I don't need to feel safe with people. I feel safe with me. But this is a longer video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you so much. Y'all get in the comments. You let me know what you think. And as always, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.